Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I make orange chicken. So I start off by washing some chicken thighs. You can use chicken breast as well. I just prefer dark meat. After the chicken's washed, we're going to trim off the fat on all the pieces here. After I trim the fat, I'm going to go ahead and cut these into small bite-sized pieces. These little chunks I cut, I butterfly them to make them even thinner. You can cut your chicken any way you like. Sometimes I feel like cutting them in strips. Sometimes I just cut them in two big pieces and make bigger chunks. So it's really a personal preference. So the next step is tenderizing the meat by velveting, which is using a little bit of baking soda and water and letting that sit for 20 minutes. While the chicken is tenderizing, go ahead and make a marinade by using soy sauce, some ginger, and some garlic. You can use fresh or you can use the tubes that I'm using here and then set aside. I'm also going to make a quick batter just using some eggs and cornstarch. I'm using 2 eggs and I kind of eyeball how much cornstarch I need. If it's a little too thick, I add a little bit of water. It's not a lot, just enough to coat the chicken for frying. After the 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and wash our chicken, rinse it a few times, and after you wash the baking soda off, we're going to go ahead and strain it. Go ahead and put it back in the bowl and throw in that marinade. After this, kind of mix it in and we're going to let that sit for another 20 minutes. While the chicken's marinating, start getting your oil hot. It's been about a half hour here, so I'm going to add some cornstarch to my chicken. I did drain some of that marinade. Just helps it dry up a little bit right before I add that batter here. So now that I'm pouring that batter in, I'm going to go ahead and toss the chicken and make sure all the pieces are fully coated. Okay, so now we get to the frying part. I'm not sure why it didn't record my first batch, but you want that oil to get to 350 degrees. Once it reaches that point, you're going to put your chicken in. I put a few pieces at a time. You don't want to overcrowd it or it's going to be one big lump of chicken. So you're going to let that in and let that sit for a little bit. And with a fork, just break up the pieces, separate them so it doesn't keep frying together. And then just let them sit there for a few minutes. You can use a thermometer. You want the chicken to at least reach 165 degrees. So once you see that the pieces are nice golden brown and you check that the inside has reached 165, you're going to go ahead and use a colander to take the pieces out. Okay, so for the marinade, I didn't actually make the sauce this time. I bought this orange sauce bottle from Aldi's. I don't know why I didn't record, but I had cut some oranges and kind of boiled them in water until it reduced to this. Once the oranges are cooked down in this step, I added that orange bottle sauce. I put a little warm water and shook out the excess. Not too much because you don't want this sauce to be too runny. You pretty much are going to stir this in and then just let that sit until it reaches a boiling point. All right, once it reaches a boiling point, you're going to turn it off and add your chicken. I'm adding it to my pan because I kind of toss it. If you feel comfortable pouring the chicken in a bowl and then pouring the sauce that way and tossing it that way, whatever. Just at the end of the day, you just want to toss this sauce with the chicken. And yes, you knew I had to take me a bite. All right, to plate, we put a little rice in a cup and just put the chicken in a little circle. I put a little orange right on top of the rice, make it look fancy. Look at this, slow motion green onions. Anyway, and there you go. Orange chicken with some white rice. Delicious.